It's July 4th weekend, and we're about to paddle 42 miles of the Wild and Scenic Allegheny River in northwestern Pennsylvania. Our 3-day, 2-night adventure will take us from Oil City all the way down to Emlenton, PA. This is a beautiful and calm stretch of the river with few rapids. Nothing over a Class 1 event. You'll probably see more bald eagles in rapids.
If you plan on starting your overnight paddle journey at Oil City Marina, it is worth noting, unless you're staying at the adjacent campsite area, there is no overnight parking at this launch, so you have to unload your gear and park on one of the nearby side streets.
We'll be starting our journey at Oil City Marina and paddling the 7 miles down to Franklin, where we'll set up camp for the night next to the Samuel Justus Recreation Trail. .4 miles from Oil City Marina. First set of small rapids. Seems like dead water and headwind right at you, or always occur at the same time.
Absolutely.
Around 1 to 2 miles from Franklin, you'll start seeing some primitive camping options on the left side of the river. Across from 2 Mile Run, there's a stretch of the river that seems to be a pretty popular option for camping. I even saw a few groups bring their trucks down from the road next to the Samuel Justus Bike Trail just to camp along the river.
So we arrive at the campsite that we kind of thought was an option for us, just in Franklin, at the Samuel Justus Trailhead, it's a bike trail along the river, and we thought we'd check it out and see if it was a good place to camp for the night.
One thing to note is we came here mid-April of 2023, and the porta potties were not there. So if you do hike or camp in the winter, do not rely on those porta potties being there.
Very true. We didn't expect that. It was like the 3rd week of April. And here we are, our camp for the night, setting up. Beautiful hot summer night, just before the 4th of July.
We had a wonderful stray cat that was there the entire night. That would just followed our every entire move.
He was so cute. Matt fed him milk and treats and chicken, and he hung out and he came back in the morning. He was so gorgeous. It's July 3rd and another beautiful, hot and sunny morning on the river. We had a relaxing breakfast and Matt took a quick run to the town to pick up some ice. It's super hot. We packed up, we're ready to go, and our adventure for day 2 starts now. We're about to explore another section of Fun River from Franklin to the Danner Primitive Campsites in Clear Creek State Forest. We have about 15 miles to cover and maybe 7 hours or so to paddle. So let's go.
We're coming up now to the Franklin boat launch. It's about 0.75 miles from the Franklin Bridge.
It's a popular launch with plenty of parking, a concrete ramp down, and a porta potty.
About a mile and a half from the Franklin Bridge is the remnant of the Big Rock Bridge. Built in 1879, it was named for the large rock you can see on the right. It was a major river crossing for horses and wagons in the late 1800s and for automobiles in the early 20th century. The Citizens Traction Company purchased the bridge in 1901 and added a second deck for its streetcar route. At that time, the trolley was a very important transportation use in the area. The bridge was unfortunately destroyed by the Great Ice Jam of 1926, just 8 minutes after a streetcar had crossed.
Looks like there's a lean-to. Do you see anywhere to put the boards up and walk up? Oh, there's tents. Yeah.
Two porta potties, two lean-tos, several bench spots, fire rings, right off the Samuel Justus Trail. The ramp down to the river.
We have a speedboat coming up on the right. We'll get some waves in a second.
You're gonna pass a lot of speedboats from Oil City down to Emlenton. So whenever a speedboat passes you, you're gonna want to turn into the speedboat, the waves.
And I guess I would say a lot, like this was a holiday weekend, we saw more boats, more traffic, more people than we've seen on this section of the river, but we've also paddled this and really not seen anyone.
We're coming up to Sand Beach. I mean, this is the name that a local gave us, that it was called. It's across from Ajax. It's a beautiful little island in the middle of the river. People seem to congregate there, and if you're gonna camp or just party, I would go there. It's in between Franklin and Fisherman's Cove. It's like that perfect halfway point for that.
We kind of had in our mind we might stop on the island, but when we saw it, all the people, like, wow, everyone's claimed their beach for the day. And this is on a Sunday, a 4th of July weekend. 4th of July was Monday, so very popular, beautiful day.
Oh, that's beautiful.
In this video, you're gonna see 5 or 6 speedboats pass us, and we've probably passed 12.
With that said, you'll also see these stretches where there is just no one. It's beautiful, it's serene, it's quiet, not a lot of houses or roads, and just yourselves on the river. It's just one lovely way to spend a day.
Belmar Bridge, where he said there was a lot of camping.
So here we are coming up on Sandy Creek, which is a tributary to the Allegheny River, and it's just before the Belmar Bridge, and really, again, another popular spot for day swimmers, beachgoers. See folks there on the side They were kind of like hanging out and swimming in the water. It's just beautiful, warm water, very shallow. We're about to go paddle up Sandy Creek and check it out.
This spot of the river is so cool. It's the confluence of the Sandy Creek River, the Allegheny, and then the Allegheny River Trail and the Sandy Creek Bike Trail. So there's a confluence of four things. There's a campground in the middle.
People are camping there, and they're right along the Sandy Creek. And I don't know, at the time we were paddling here, we knew the bike trails, but you really can't see them from the river when it's part of summer, because there's so much greenery that blocks the trails. But we do know the Sandy Creek Bike Trail does run right along this creek for 12 miles from the town of Van all the way to Fisherman's Cove, and seems to be a lovely bike trail from what we've read. We've since done the Allegheny River Trail and the Samuel Justus Trail, which runs through this region as well. But today, this was all about paddling the river and how clear Sandy Creek and the fish in the bottom, and just kind of wanting to chill out for hours if there was time to do so. It's just a lovely day.
It's just such a beautiful section. 200 yards above us is just rocky section, beautiful river. Just a great section to have a little lunch in.
Yeah. So at the bridge, it's shallow on the left. Go towards the right.
So as we exit the Sandy Creek, we're heading back into the Allegheny, and we're going to pass under the Belmar Bridge. It's another lovely section. You get a little more people here and there because people tend to beach it along this section. But here we go, continuing on our journey.
After the Belmar Bridge, you're going to want to stay to the right of the islands. If you stay to the left of the islands, that's where we're going to hit the most of the speedboats. And the right of the side of them has better options to stop, have lunch, and just hang out and chill with other people that are going to stop along the way as well.
I always feel like we get pretty lucky when we come upon some wildlife and some islands. In this case, there was some beautiful deer just all by herself.
Here we are. We stopped about a mile or half a mile before Indian Rock on the left side of the river. We had 5 or 6 hot dogs wrapped in foil for lunch. You gotta make do when you're on the river.
What a big deal. I thought it was a lovely day. We decided to beach it on a sandy shore, make a fire, set up our chairs, have a lunch, and then go about our merry way.
What you gotta do on the river. We're coming up to the Fisherman's Cove boat launch. If you have a regular car, I would not do that boat launch. If you have a truck, great option. It's about 3 miles from a regular road, and then it's just dirt path, potholes like crazy down to there.
making our way to our endpoint for the day, for day 2. And we know this place. We've camped here before. We know it's coming after those small rapids. And here we are arriving at Danner Primitive Campground. It's in the Clear Creek State Forest. It's a first come, first serve walk up campsite. You really can only get to from the river or from some hiking trails behind it. And we've had an experience now twice to stay here. Lovely, lovely campground. We'll tell you a little more about it.
One other time, there was either a wolverine or a bear outside our tent.
Our first overnight camping trip. We were in a small tent. We didn't take much because we didn't know how much weight we can carry on our boards. We had very little gear. We didn't even have a weapon, meaning like a knife or a hatchet. In the middle of the night when there was puffing going on outside the tent. But here we came back again. Try it again. Round 2. See what we got.
And then our second night, there was a deer outside our tent, and I thought it was the same bear. Nope, just a baby deer.
A baby deer. He was all cuddled up in the foliage.
I came out with an axe and bear spray. It's just a baby deer.
Amazing the little noises you hear at night, including the partiers across the river. It was the eve of 4th of July.
With Danner's, you have about 7 primitive camping spots with a fire ring and
table, lots of space between them. There's always seems to be some firewood. You get the vault toilets, and it's just, yeah, we've had a couple neighbors. Well, first time I think we had no neighbors. The second time we had 1 neighbor, 2 neighbors down the way. It was 4th of July weekend, but we got really lucky after dusk that we got to see some local fireworks display. It's the 4th of July and it's our final day on the river. We have a long paddle ahead. Another very beautiful, hot, sunny day, and today we have almost 20 miles to cover. Hope to accomplish within 8 hours. We're leaving from the Danner's campsite and finishing up in Emlenton.
A little over 2 miles from Danner's, you'll pass underneath the Kennedale Bridge. On the river right is Marlowe's Camping. Marlowe's mostly has RVs, but there are a few tent spots available. Each site has a fire ring, a picnic table, and close enough to the water to launch your canoe or kayak. There's a bathhouse that has 2 showers and 2 flushing toilets, and it's the last launch point for the next 15 miles until Daughter X.
You can see with a lot of sections of the Allegheny, it's a foot or 2 deep, and it's beautiful because you can see the bottom, but also scary if you have a stand-up paddleboard.
It is tough. We have a fin on our boards, and we tend to keep that on because it helps with direction. But if you take the fin off, you can't steer your board as well, but you also have more clearance. So it's a give or take.
Right now is a good look at Carrie's board. We can see all the items we have on it. The cooler, the bags. I mean, we throw 50 pounds on these things, and still, it's not too hard to paddle.
No, it's not. We have a lot of different sizes of dry bags, and we have color coding systems we use, so we know the bedding's in the green bag, the yellow bag's the food. We kind of have it all figured out.
There's the lean-to. Lots of graffiti. Someone left their tarp. Some cooking pans on the side. So next to that tunnel, you can see a rope swing up there as well. Looks steep in the middle where the rope swing, so that'll be pretty fun. And then across the river is All Saints Camp. And right after the lean-to, there's usually rapids right there, but the river is about 2 feet higher than it usually is. So you can just come into the sandy parts, bring in kayaks, canoes, whatever. Right next to the tunnel is the lean-to.
We pass a few teenagers wrestling in the middle of the river, and we make our way to probably the biggest rapids of the day, although they're still class 1. These rapids and the rapids next to All Saints Camp are the biggest rapids this stretch of the river in between Kennerdale and Emlenton.
Those are pretty good rapids. Water's about 2 feet deep. Pretty more shallow. Oh, that's shallow. Next time come, we can stay right. Yeah, stay far right. Roy did one back.
Next up is the Emlenton boat launch. It has a concrete ramp down to the water and is located under the lower bridge. There is no bathroom at the launch, so you'll have to probably go to one of the local restaurants if you needed that. Last time I was at the launch, I spoke with a local. He said on each side of the ramp is private property, so if you don't want to get your car towed, don't park next to the ramp. If you need to park your car somewhere, there's a grass lot next to the IGA, or there's a paved lot next to the Crawford Center behind the Emlenton Brewery. Or if you really need it, you can park it at the trailhead of the Allegheny River Trail.
Alright, well that concludes our 42-mile paddle journey on the Allegheny River. We started off in Oil City and ended in Emlenton. This is a great section of the Allegheny to paddle. It's not as secluded as the upper sections of the river can be, and there are fewer island camping options, but this section is just as beautiful and just as fun to paddle. In the last video I released, I gave a little tour of every boat launch in the first 130 miles of the Allegheny River, starting at Kinzoo Dam all the way down to Brady's Bend. So if you're planning your own adventure, hopefully that video can help you out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you get out there and enjoy your own adventure.